Hey everyone, Gill Gross here post-match. Novak Djokovic versus Holger Rune, Rome 2023 quarterfinal. If you're not here for spoilers, click off the video in 3, 2, 1. For a second straight time, Holger Rune beats Novak Djokovic, a rematch of what is to this point the signature win of Rune's career in the final of the Paris Masters last year. And just like last time, Rune wins it in 3 sets, but last time, Novak went up a set and a break, and throughout that match, if you remember the match well and Monday Match Analysis, after that match, I felt like Novak had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to win that match or, put it away or take charge in that match. And it was a very unclutch performance by Djokovic, from my point of view at least. This match was quite different because I thought from start to finish that Rune seemed like the guy, that it felt like his match almost the entire time. Part of that was just the flow of the match, how dominant the first set, which Rune won, and the third set, which Rune won, were. In both sets, he broke in the first game to start the match and to start the third set, and he consolidated on both occasions. Not to mention the second set, it felt a little bit quirky. One, because a call by Mohamed Layani where Rune at 40-30 stopped the point, thought the ball was out. Layani came out of his chair. Remember, if the ball was out, Rune wins the game and it's 3-all in the second set. And Layani says, no, the ball was in. I tend to think that Mo made a mistake just because of the margin at which Hawkeye said the ball was out. I know there's a margin for error. Hawkeye is not always correct. But so if Hawkeye had it like a centimeter or, a centimeter and a half, sorry, I mean millimeter. Sorry, I'm bad with metric system. A millimeter or a millimeter and a half, I would say, forget Hawkeye. Layani might be right that it caught the line. Hawkeye might be wrong. In this case, seemed pretty far out. So I feel like Mo missed the call. Rune went nuts. He was beside himself. His serve was broken, shifted the energy a little bit. Rune did almost mount a late comeback. He got the second set back on serve. Serving at 4-5, he goes down love 30, and then there was an hour-long rain delay. Rune had to come back. Now, obviously, Djokovic was up love 30. Rain or no rain, he was actually in good position to break serve and win the second set. But because there was that long break in the action and that Rune came back, lost the next 2 points out of the rain delay, and suddenly the second set was over, I think it was really, really easy for him mentally to turn the page on that second set, to just be like, oh, that was funky, quirky set, whatever, time to get down to business in the third. Whereas if there was no rain break and if there was no big dramatic incident with Layani, maybe it would have felt a little bit different. But it kind of felt like it was Rune's match the whole time for those reasons. I kind of want to start by talking about Holger's defense, because that was, I think, the best thing that either player did in the match, was the way Rune was covering the court and making it difficult for Djokovic to finish against him. I think that was the best thing he did in this match. And first of all, the court coverage. I think Rune is not the best raw athlete that you'll ever see. He doesn't have the agility, flexibility of Djokovic, the explosive acceleration and straight line speed that Alcaraz has. But his anticipation is really good. He moves very well in between his shots, whether it be recovering to the middle quickly with his lateral movement, whether it be recognizing that he's about to be attacked and just retreating in between shots to get into better defensive position. I also feel like he reacts rather quickly. He always seems to get a quick jump on the ball. So when I watch Rune move around the tennis court, It's never that I feel like he's moving really, really fast or explosively, but I do feel like he's covering the court incredibly well because his movement is so efficient and so kind of on balance. When he gets to the ball, I find his defense to be unbelievably versatile and unpredictable. Oftentimes, when he's defending out of his forehand corner, he'll go down the line just as much as he'll go cross. And in this match on both the forehand and the backhand, I thought there were tremendous examples of slice defense and tremendous examples of high and loopy defense. What you don't want against Novak Djokovic is to hit the ball in a straight line when you're defending. You want to challenge his contact point. You either want to make him generate pace, first of all. That's very important, especially in conditions like this. So you don't want to give him too much pace, and you want to make it challenging for him to hit the ball at a ideal height. And you do that by either playing low slice defense, you're taking away pace and taking away height, or high and spinny defense. Hopefully you get decent depth on it. But in that case, again, you're making it hard for Djokovic to manage his contact point because the ball's going to jump really high off the court. And you're hitting a slow ball, which is going to give you time to recover to the middle. And you're going to make Djokovic have to generate all the force to put pace into the ball. And I was just amazed that each time, regardless of what he had to do, whether it was open stance on the backhand, which was really the first shot when I saw Rune as a super, super young guy playing challengers, I was like, whoa, he hits that well, and he hits that hard. He has that down the line and cross court. But again, I thought in the first set, so many examples of slice defense that stayed low that Djokovic just was getting the footwork wrong on and missing forehands off of. So the defense was dominant. Djokovic couldn't hit through. Not to mention the conditions. Cold, slow, wet. I mean, it's not an easy court to get through, but I thought Rune was taking full advantage of that by defending phenomenally well in this match. So, I mean, in order for Djokovic to kind of overcome that, he needs to have a great forehand day for the most part, or he can try to take advantage of the same thing, right? He can try to allow the match to get physical. He can accept neutrality. He can try to be the more consistent player, the player with the better shot tolerance. There was no effort for that to happen for Novak. Novak, if you look at the statistics, let's go to the stats right now. Rallies over 9 shots, 23-14. Rune, unforced errors in that subset, 9-0. So there's a 9-shot advantage, a 9-point advantage for Rune, and mirroring that is a +9 unforced error advantage for Rune. So as those rallies got long and physical, Djokovic was first to miss consistently. Unforced errors total. Infosys had it 19-4. Infosys is very strict on the unforced errors. They keep the number down. Tennis TV had it 35-15. Regardless, not even close. Because Djokovic was the guy trying to make something happen. Trying to, he was much more desperate to finish points because physically he really didn't want to engage. Djokovic's forehand, not up to the task, nor were his volleys. But obviously the bigger deal was his forehand. And look, I thought some of the forehand issues were on the feet. Sometimes it was overhitting, trying to maintain an advantage. There were, again, a lot of examples where I thought Rune hit good neutralizations and Djokovic was missing off of those neutralizations because Novak was trying to stay on top of the point to maintain an advantage in the point. The way he could have approached it, and I think the way he would have approached it in a previous era of superior Djokovic Herculean fitness, is, oh, wow, good defense. Okay, back to neutral. I'm cool with that. But it seemed like instead of Djokovic kind of accepting the good defense, he was like, crap, I can't let Rune get back to neutral here. I need to hit another big forehand. And Djokovic was having trouble controlling his forehand in a big way. Now, in the past, and I guess I'll talk about this now. Like, in the past, he's beefed up the forehand throughout clay court season. And that's been the big difference, I think, for him. It's always been the X factor to me, because really, since you've heard me talk about this for a long time, I don't think Djokovic's cardio has been spectacular ever since he came back from the elbow thing and kind of got his career back on track in 2018. I think a lot of other stuff has been spectacular. The serve keeps getting better and better and better. The return is still amazing. The consistency can still be amazing. The transition game, the precision off the ground, the forehand at times has been awesome, right? But on clay, it can't just be awesome. It also needs to be super, super big and heavy. And in the last couple years, it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger as clay court season has progressed. But the question obviously right now is, has the elbow stuff made it hard for him to do that? And it's hard to say. Like, maybe it was because Rome was so cold and so wet this year that it made Djokovic's forehand look underpowered. Maybe more than it really is. So maybe in Paris, probably with drier and more lively conditions, it's going to look a whole lot better. But the other option is, no, it wasn't really about the conditions and Rune defending so well. It was really because the elbow thing hasn't allowed Djokovic to really build up the strength on his forehand like he has in previous years. But the point is that when Djokovic was, I'll just say, kind of in his physical prime, it didn't really matter if he wasn't able to easily find finishes on the forehand, because he could challenge opponents like Holger Rune in other ways. And right now, he can't. And I don't think he will be able to. Now, don't take that as Djokovic can't dig in and show amazing shot tolerance or win long rallies, because obviously he can. And mind you, he's won a Roland Garros since this kind of post-prime cardio era. And that's because if he has to do it occasionally, I think he can do it. If it's a big point, especially, and if he has a full gas tank, if he has to pick his spots, he can do it. But point in and point out throughout an entire match, I don't think he can actually lean too hard on his shot tolerance to win matches on clay anymore. I think that era is over, which is okay, but that means the forehand has to perform, and it didn't in this match. That said, I want to finish on this, shifting the attention back to Holger Rune. His drastically improved patience made this possible. There is an alternate reality of this match where Rune is so desperate to take it to Djokovic and desperate to attack himself that he sabotages his physicality advantage and his shot tolerance advantage. He sabotages that by going too big too early and being erratic himself. On the contrary, Rune played an unbelievably clean match by not going for too much on defense. And even when attacking, especially with his forehand, just having this really high RPM, good margin, measured approach attacking on his forehand. You know, sometimes taking a huge rip, especially behind a good first serve. And that works too. On the backhand, I thought instead of Rune on the backhand trying to like crush drive backhand winners, instead it was like, oh, I have Novak pushed back here and I get to step inside the court on my backhand. Well, I'll finish with the drop shot. His backhand drop shot's really good. And these things are just allowed Rune to play cleaner than I think he was earlier in the year. Drastically improved patience since the hard court season, January, February, March. Again, as soon as Rune hit the clay, I think his shot selection just got way better. And if the biggest things here were Djokovic's control issues, particularly on the forehand, and Rune's stellar defense, and I do think those were the two biggest things, let's acknowledge that we might not get to that point without Rune being willing to work points, lengthen points, and be smart with his shot selection as to allow Djokovic to feel like, oh, I actually, in order to have success in this match, I need to create off my forehand. I need to find finishes. He's not going to miss. This guy, Holger Rune, is not going to miss. It has to be, unless I want to engage in a physical war, I'm going to need to create something here. And for Rune to create that environment for Novak and to win the unforced error count the way that he did, that is a testament, again, to his drastically improved patience. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.